Today, I will take you on a journey of what it is we call the Pacific Northwest here in Tacoma, Washington. This journey is about the community at large coming together to change um, a name of a school that it has um, ties with a very diverse community. Um, the public responded well with the name changing of McCarver Elementary to Edna Travis Elementary. It was during this time there were perspectives of the community and the committee that want to put together the changing of the school name. There had been a push to remove figures who've had a negative influence from their name and likeness in our community in Tacoma, Washington. There, Gordon Reed states, there is no path to a peaceful and prosperous country without challenging and rejecting that as a basis for our society. So when you think of this thought and the name changing of the two other Tacoma public schools in our district, this was the obvious next step of changing the name of this school, which was named after the individual who had racist points of views. The school, like I stated earlier, has a heavily diverse population, and they wanted to remove the stigma related to that school and that name. The reactions went very well with changing the name, but I believe the events of George Floyd sparked the communities to look differently under a microscope, changing of certain names and individuals in Tacoma School District. In this situation, it was association of the names in this particular school where their name wanted to be changed. The implications consisted of the school's name changed, even though the committee had already agreed to change the name prior to even changing it to Edna Travis Elementary. But there was heavy scrutiny of changing the name to Edna Travis Elementary because of her religious ties to her Christian faith. And so they wanted to, and they did, put her heavily underneath a microscope to make sure that she didn't have any negative ties or say anything negative to the community at large, and especially the LGBTQ community. There was nothing found that was spark or change the name for Edna Travis. Other implications of the community would also be of that, making sure that she didn't have any negative connotations of things that she said in her past. Edna Travis had passed away years ago, but they wanted to make sure that her life and her reflection was that of the name change of the Tacoma School from McCarver Elementary to now Edna Travis Elementary. Morton Matthew McCarver, who was a name change, was named McCarver Elementary over 100 years ago. And so now there was a big push in the community to change the name. But there was, Edna Travis wasn't the first person that they thought of, but because of her community ties in that community, on the hilltop in Tacoma, she was one of the first people that they initially thought to change the name to. So now you ask yourself, Why now the name changing? Um, the community at large wanted to bring about effective change, and that they believe that started with the changing of the school, to have the change of the school not just uh, represent a community, but this specific woman, Edna Travis, her life was community, and so they wanted to change the school name um, to Edna Travis Elementary. And so you ask these questions. Um, um, why was this specific article even written about this woman? Um, who was the intended audience of this article? What are the last implications of deciding to change the name school? How does changing the name impact the community at large? Does changing the school's name bring pride to the community? And which it does. One thing about Tacoma school districts, um, they 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 bring pride in wanting to be connected, um, coexist, bring diversity and inclusion to their communities. Like I said, two other schools were changed, which was Jason Lee Middle School, and that name got changed to Heritage Middle School, and Woodrow Wilson High School got changed um, to Dr. Dolores Silas, who was a community member, um, who is still living, who have great ties to the community in here in Tacoma. I'll leave you with this. There is much uh, to be proud of when community comes together, and not just community, everybody as a large, and that makes community.